Welcome to How to Understand Math, Eliminating Math Anxiety. Finding a reason to believe in yourself is possible. Watch this video and learn what is needed. I know a lot of people will tell you, just believe. Well, it's easy for them to say that, and it might even be easy for you to say, okay, I believe. But why? If you don't have a reason, you're not going to really believe in yourself. So let's get you the reason. First of all, what won't work? Memorization will not work. You cannot memorize math. It's a different type of study and it takes a different study technique. Math is logical, so read with understanding and always ask why. And if you can't answer why, read a little more carefully or try to find the answer. Then you would read and go through step by step the examples. There are no extra examples, so do not skip any. If you have a textbook and it has 3 examples in a section, it's because there's something different about each one. Mathematicians don't put in multiple exact examples. It serves no purpose, and the books are thick enough without doing that. And then we're going to practice, but we're going to practice the right way. And this is where the learning and the belief in yourself, all that is going to come from. So practice the right way. Practice problems you understand can be problematic. Now, if you practice, let's say x plus 3 equals 0, and then you practice x plus 5 equals 0, and then x plus 6 equals 0, you can probably get the concept on the first problem, and the rest is just going to waste time. So if you're like most people, there's a limited amount of time for practice available. You have a life, you have other things to do, and you have probably other subjects to study. So do not waste it on the problems you have mastered. Practice simple problems can just to say you have practiced a certain amount of time can wear you out, and the drudgery can cause becoming disenchanted. People get upset with math because they get tired, and you can cause that by overdoing. So what you do is you work one problem at a time, then check it. If you get the wrong answer, try more of the same cluster after reviewing the appropriate example. Keep practicing until you learn the technique. In the back of a section in a textbook, a typical textbook, the problems are clustered. There might be 4 or 5 alike, and then something new will come in. And there might be 10 alike, and then something new will come in. And then there might be 10 more. If you do okay with the first one in a cluster, I would jump to the next cluster because you have limited time. Do not practice problems for which you do not have a solution. Repeating an error without knowing you are making mistakes only reinforces the wrong technique. Wow. People will just sit there and go through problem after problem. In fact, there are teachers who will assign even number problems, knowing full well only the odd number problems have a solution in the back of the text. So what are you doing if you're practicing problems wrong? You're convincing yourself that wrong is right. So the best problems are those with worked out solutions and explanations of the steps. So if you can find a source where the problems are actually worked out and there's some wording telling you why, that's the best. Uh, at least have the answer. That's not optimal, but it's better than not. For problems with answers only, if your answer does not match, make certain it is not the same answer in a different form. Well, sometimes simplification or maybe even a different way of writing the material, uh, one not even being preferred over the other, can be a problem. This can be done by subtracting your answer from the given answer. If there are variables, you can get a good idea if your answer is just in a different form by trying a value in place of the variable. So it's hard when you got X in the answer to see if the two are correct. If you have a TI-89 or a symbolic calculator, you could do it. But if you don't have a symbolic calculator, it's not going to be easy to check that without putting a number in. Now, believe in yourself, the most important step in succeeding. But just saying, I believe I know it, does not make it so. Have a reason for believing in yourself. So, how do I get that reason? Practice problems in random order and check the answers. This often can be done by taking the problems from a practice set at the end of a chapter in a good book. If the problems are ordered, make a set of numbered pieces of paper that correspond to the problem numbers and pick a number at random. And then you repeat. But before you go to the second problem, always check. And if one is incorrect, go back and revisit the appropriate example before going to the next one. Take the tests from the back of the chapter if one exists. I've seen textbooks where they'll give you 4 practice tests. So you can try one, and after you figure out what you needed to study, you can try the next one. Again, check and revisit examples as needed. One of the problems with these practice tests is they are often in the same order as the text. So again, you might want to just do what you do with the practice set. Number the problems, or take pieces of paper, write the numbers, and then just pick one at random and do that problem. So on the test, they're not necessarily going to come in the order of the text. Once you have mastered the practice, ask yourself one critical question. If I can work these problems correctly, why should I not expect to do the same on a test? What's the difference? If I can work the practice, I can work the test. It's just a different question, but it's equivalent. Now you have a reason to believe in yourself. Doubt is your enemy. Confidence is your friend. But the confidence comes from proper practice and verifying by checking your answers that you know the material and solving any difficulty. If you have something you get wrong, resolve it. Well, test taking is another issue. I taught for many years. I've learned a long time ago that if you had a hard question at the beginning of a test, the students will often get a letter grade lower. The whole classroom will average a letter grade lower than if it was at the back end of the test. And I've seen one very extreme case. There was a final exam where it was a departmental final, and that meant a committee made up the test. The first question on the test could not be worked, and the best students sat there and were determined to work it. The weak students just, I just didn't know that one and moved on. And it really destroyed grades. So I learned a long time ago that if a difficult problem is first on a test, the grades are lower than if it is last. Why? A student can always encounter a problem that is difficult. This causes concern over whether the rest of the problems are equally difficult and whether there is enough time to finish the test. It also serves as a distraction by having the student thinking about the difficult problem and not fully concentrating on the other problems. Mark it and forget it. Don't keep thinking back. Don't keep going back over and over in your mind. You will not have full concentration on the other problems. One problem is not that critical. Learn to move on. Once you finish the rest of the tests, you can, in a relaxed manner, will work on the one or two passed over problems with the confidence the other problems should bring a reasonably high grade. Once this technique can lead to getting the problems originally passed, often this technique can lead to getting the problems originally passed over correctly. So let's review. When you get to a chapter, read carefully. You have to understand the definitions and any theorems. And I mean understand. Read the examples carefully, making certain that they are understood. Practice. Ideally practice with worked out solutions. At least practice with solutions. Check your practice immediately after trying a problem. Do not reinforce erroneous technique. Oh, that is really bad. Go back to the explanation and appropriate example if there is an issue other than carelessness. Okay, everybody will have a careless rate. You write down enough two single-digit numbers, and you add them together. Sooner or later, you're going to say something like 2 plus 3, and you're going to write down 6. Everybody does it. There'll be a certain little bit of that going on. And if you realize that's what happened, you don't really need to do anything about it. Just be careful on the test. Practice back of chapter material, randomizing the problems, and check each problem immediately. Believe in yourself. Do not stop believing if you must delay a difficult test problem. It's not a real issue. Now, I have several practice sets on video, actually, that have worked out solutions, and I explain them. you can check through my playlist. If you need one I do not yet have, you may request it in the comments, and I might just have Tom to add it. And please consider hitting the subscribe button. Thank you.